This program aims to find solutions to your medical queries. It seeks answers to common health problems that have been hounding you. We will help you out in finding answers to your medical concerns. I'm Angel Jacob and this is MedTalk, your weekly on-air health consultation here on the Solar News Channel. Ham, lechon, creamy pasta, and sweet delights. These are just some of the favorite dishes Pinoys love to indulge in during the holidays. In our country, the tradition of gaining weight during Christmas season has become the norm. But as years pass, according to the National Statistics Coordination Board, or NSCB, as of 2008, 26.6% of Filipino adults are overweight, higher than 16.6% in 1993. Of that number, 5.2% are obese. Obesity is an excess proportion of total body fat. A person is considered obese when his or her weight is 20% or more above the normal weight. Maintaining one's healthy weight for a lifetime involves balancing the number of calories consumed with the number of calories being burned. It takes approximately 3,500 calories below your calorie needs to lose a pound of body fat. To lose 1 to 2 pounds a week, the calorie intake must be reduced by 500 to 1,000 calories per day. Question is, how can we prevent obesity and how can we lose weight the right way? The weight you gain during Christmas season is always blamed on holiday cocktails, lechon, and candy bowls. To most, extra pounds are a downer, and obesity has been associated to higher cases of depression, job discrimination, and social isolation. In tonight's episode, let's talk about how we can keep our bodies healthy and what kind of Noche Buena should we prepare. Joining us is Dr. Gabriel Hasul, President of the Philippine Association for the Study of Overweight, Obesity, and immediate past President of the Philippine Society of Endocrinology and Metabolism. Also joining us is Dr. Hidalgardes Dineros, President of the Philippine Society for Metabolic and Bariatric Surgery and Director of the Live Life Centers for Healthy and Lifestyle Enhancement. You can participate in the discussion by calling our hotline or following us on Twitter or sending us an email. Now let's start the discussion. Welcome to the show, Dr. Dineros, Dr. Hasul.
Hi.
Our topic for tonight is obesity or obesity. Please tell us, Dr. Dineros, what is obesity?
Well, obesity is qualitatively defined as an increased fatness in the body, and quantitatively it can be a percentage of fat in the body, like if you're a female and more than 1/3 of your body weight is fat, then you're obese. Okay. As in males, it's 1/4 of your body mass being fatness, then you're obese.
Okay, how do we determine our body fat, or is there a way for like us to calculate it without even going to the doctor?
We have a certain guideline that we use. It's called body mass index, and I think so many would know about it already.
Yes.
And it's actually a computation of your weight against your height. So at a certain weight or a certain height, you have a normal weight level. And normally, for Asia-Pacific guidelines, we're looking at 19.5 to 23 as normal body mass index. Beyond that, then you're at risk, and obesity is defined as body mass index higher than 30 kilograms per meter squared.
So this is determining one's body mass index,
Yes.
but it doesn't determine one being obese.
Yes, at a certain level, then you're considered obese, like 30 body mass index.
What are the health hazards associated with obesity?
There's a lot. I think Dr. Hasul can
I
expound on
think we
that.
can go from top to bottom, and so we know that the obese individual has very high risk for heart disease, diabetes is a common accompanying disease of obesity, and you have fatty liver disease, gallstones, arthritis because of the wear and tear on your joints, sleep apnea, sleep disorder. These people have a tendency to have the sleep disturbances and neurologic complications as well because of the risk for stroke, early stroke.
We shall go back to all these health hazards in a while, but we have a caller on the line, Ron Rabadon. Hi, Ron.
Hi, Angel.
You have a question for our doctors?
Opo, I would like to ask kung totoo ba na pag nag-crash diet ka, may mabilis din babalik yung weight mo and pwedeng mas lumala pa.
So yung question niya is about crash
still
diet.
listening. Yes, crash diet. Salamat, Ron.
Thank you po.
Okay, about the crash diet.
I think it's a very practical question, and many people do involve themselves in crash diet, and they do lose weight. No? Any diet that would reduce your total caloric intake should lead to weight loss. But the problem with the crash diet, they are not practical or normal diets, and so as soon as you get tired of following those radical diets, the weight regain is very easy to occur. No, and then also we know that there are already enough proof that people who try to lose weight actually have a compensatory mechanism by our body and our brain to actually proceed to a weight regain mode. So that's why it's very difficult to actually maintain the weight loss that you have successfully attained. No? So it's a problem, and so that's why more of the psychological preparedness and compliance of the patient, of the individual, is important.
And a lot of times we're just thirsty and we respond by eating. Yes. And that's what happens. And the craving part in us doesn't go away. Even if you sit in and eat all-you-can restaurant the whole day, it's still there.
So, sometimes being thirsty can translate to eating an actual meal. Pero,
Yes.
uhaw ka lang pala talaga.
Yes.
Let's see if our Facebook friend, Herbert Yusaf, is hungry or nauuhaw lang siya. There are medications effective in helping you lose weight. That's from our Facebook page.
It's a very important question, and right now we have very limited drugs in our armamentarium. So we have phentermine and orlistat. No, they are available in the market. The history of drugs for weight loss has been quite erratic, I should say. And because there have been good drugs, but then they would be found out to have side effects, and so they would be withdrawn from the market.
Okay, this helps in curbing one's appetite, or does it just direct one?
There's a lot of
into
those
losing
drugs
weight?
are appetite suppressants.
Suppressants. They are centrally acting. The orlistat, which is still available now, acts on the intestine to block fat absorption, so it does not affect appetite.
My take is that the drugs normally can actually help you just to jumpstart weight loss. It is not designed to be that you take the drugs for life.
Shouldn't be addicted to
just
it.
to jumpstart weight loss, and while you're there, you should have developed already the discipline on controlling your intake. But the problem is we're not able to comply with any form of strategy that is provided to us, especially if you're overeating really. And the problem also is the effects, the desired effects of these drugs that we have in the market are actually side effects of those drugs that we don't really want.
Okay, instead of getting the desired effect, we get side effects.
Yes, actually we have more of that, and that's why they get to be approved for a while, and then FDA would take them out from the market.
So we will continue with our discussion. When we come back, we will be joined by Miguel Lopez, who has been diagnosed obese since he was 7 years old. You can participate in the discussion by calling our hotline or following us on Twitter or emailing us at medtalk@solartv.ph. MedTalk will be right back. We're back here on MedTalk. We're still talking about obesity. Joining us is Miguel, who has been diagnosed with being obese since he was 7. You were diagnosed with being obese at 7. Tapos nung 16 ka, na-diagnose ka na may high blood. Kumusta yung experience mo growing up?
Medyo mahirap kasi maraming bawal like sa sports or mga activity kasi pagiging obese yung bawal yung weight, yung mga ganun. Then sa food, ang daming bawal. Kasi nga, active ako nung age na yun so lahat tinatry ko so ang daming bawal.
How about yung part ng eating natin? Gaano karami ba yung kinakain natin at saka ano yung mga types of foods that you prefer to eat?
Halos po all meat and chicken.
Mahilig ka sa meat?
Apo.
Aha.
Sa gulay po, pili lang.
Sweets?
Yun po, malakas po, chocolates.
So malakas siya sa sugars, malakas siya sa fats.
Apo.
And incidentally, kagaya sinasabi natin kanina, yun ang nag-stimulate ng so much appetite. Ano ba yung description mo ng gutom sa iyo?
Bigla na
Miguel?
lang po yung craving ng food na kunyari gusto ko ng ice cream or ng chocolate, bigla na lang. Then pag nag-crave na, yun po,
So
sumusobra.
hindi ka nagkakaroon ng opportunity na talagang nafe-feel ng katawan mo na gutom ka. It's more of the craving part. So most of the hunger na mayroon siya is the false type of hunger. Ito yung wanting appetite. Di ba sabi niya, gusto niya na ng ganito.
So, gaano kadalas ka kumakain? Like, since
For
this
a day.
morning, nakailan
Yun, minsan four times.
a day?
Pertaining doon sa
Kasi
dami
yung
ng
sa-
pagkain na tinitake mo, is a regular value meal sa'yo enough na? Or
Parating naka-upsize.
upsize? Upsize. So, maliban doon sa frequency ng eating, nandun pa rin yung volume ng kinakain mo mas marami kaysa sa regular.
Para mas masatisfy yung craving. Kaya nagiging gano'n.
Nagkaroon ka na ba ng attempt na mag-lose ng timbang in the past?
Meron po. Nag-try po ako, then nag-gym ako ng 1 month and 1 month and 15 days. So,
Ano
natigil.
nangyari?
No rice po talaga ako nun.
Walang rice for 1.5 months. Ano naman ang na-replace mo doon sa rice?
Ano po, vegetable, yung mga lettuce, mga
Nag-lose ka ng weight at that
Apo,
time.
kaso bumalik ulit kasi yung dati po work ko iba. So may free time ngayon, naging full. So
Bumalik ka sa rice
Apo.
again.
We will, I don't mean to interrupt, no? But we will go back to the discussion. We just have a caller on the line, si Sian Maclan. Hi, Sian.
Hi, Angel.
You have a question for our doctors?
Meron po. I would like to ask sana, kasi I was an athlete before, pero I need to stop working out because of my job. Kaya I gained so much weight, and now I'm trying to lose it na. Pero kahit hindi masyadong marami yung food na kinakain ko, hindi pa rin masyadong visible yung pagbawas ng timbang ko, unlike before, na kaya kong mag-lose siguro ng up to 5 pounds a week. My friend told me kasi daw sa schedule namin yun because I'm on a graveyard shift kasi call center agent ako. Is that true po?
Again, lifestyle. Again,
Napakagandang
trabaho.
question nun.
Yeah, thank you for your questions, Sian.
Kasi dati-rati, balanse yung kanyang intake at saka expenditure ng calories dahil nag-exercise siya. Ang problema, nawala na yung expenditure dahil hindi na siya nag-exercise, pero tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung pagkain niya. Kaya nagtuloy-tuloy yung pag-gain ng kanyang weight. So, ang problema kay Sian is that stressful yung situation niya dahil nandun nga siya sa night shift. And yung sleep pattern niya is altered and it creates so much stress in the body. And yung response lang niya para ma-comfort yung sarili niya is eating. So instead of sleeping, he eats para maayos yung maging comfortable siya dun sa kanyang situation.
We talk about physical activity. Miguel, are you able to exercise now in spite of your
How
schedule?
frequent you were saying nagbabasketball ka? Gaano kadalas yun?
minsan lang po eh.
Minsan
Pag
lang,
may time.
kunyari, let's say, in
Sa
once a
week,
week.
once, or minsan twice a month, or thrice a month.
In fact, hindi nga advisable kay, di ba, Dr. Hazul, hindi nga advisable kay Miguel na mag-go into some strenuous activity kasi magiging prone ka to injuries. Especially so na, let's say for example na sabi mo 292 pounds ka ngayon, ang ideal body weight mo would be somewhere around 140, 150. So you're looking at 150 pounds overweight, no? And 150 pounds means na 3 sakong bigas ang dala-dala mo every day in your life. And just imagine that na kahit ikaw ay naglalakad, umakyat sa hagdan, o ikaw ay natutulog, nakadagan sa'yo lahat yung 3 sakong bigas na yun. Ganon ang kabigat, ganon ang burden ng obesity. That's why mayroon kang hypertension. Kasi kailangan ng heart mo mag-pump more. That's why hirap kang huminga kasi kailangan mas marami kang oxygen na pinapasok. Sumasakit yung mga tuhod mo dahil nga sa 3 sakong bigas na dala-dala mo. So kailangan siguro magbawas ka talaga ng weight.
Talagang total change.
And I think kailangan, medyo matagal na yung high blood niya, no? So 16 pa lang, so 10 years na. Very early ang onset. Usually kasi mga 40 bago nag-high blood. No? And so, napaka-importante na si Miguel makapagpa-check up kasi not only about risk for diabetes, kidney problem, heart disease, no? Lalo na kung may balak tayong mag-lose siya ng weight.
Maraming salamat ulit, Miguel.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Miguel.
Thank you po.
Thank you. Up next, we'll be giving you tips on preventing obesity. You can participate in the discussion by calling our hotline or by following us on Twitter and by emailing us. MedTalk will be right back. This is Carlo Miguel. He weighed 132 kilograms before. This is Carlo Miguel. He weighed 132 kilograms before. Carlo belongs to a family of foodies and chefs. His great-grandfather was a pastry chef. His mother is a cook with a catering business, while his older brother is a chef as well. At the age of 24, he was diagnosed with hypertension, and then at age 27, he was diagnosed with high cholesterol. Carlo has also been diagnosed with an obstructive sleep apnea. With diabetes running in their family, Carlo did not seem to recognize that he was at risk of acquiring the same genetic condition. In 2000, he met a girl who would change his life and his outlook with food. She gave him an ultimatum: to lose weight or he would lose her. Fearful of that ultimatum, Carlo then immediately hired a trainer and nutritionist. After 3 months, Carlo lost a total of 49 kilograms or 108 pounds.
My wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and I were starting to get a bit serious, and she asked me if I could do something about my weight because she didn't want to be with someone that potentially has a hazardous future like that. So I did try and lose some weight on my own. I enrolled in a gym.
At present, Carlo is the executive chef and co-owner of several restaurants in the Philippines and a full-time husband and daddy to his child. As a chef, Carlo likes to prepare his own food, so to better monitor his calorie intake. He continues his healthy new lifestyle and plans to be an advocate for fitness and healthy living. He goes to the gym regularly, loves to go on bike trips, and enjoys his morning run, especially during weekends.
Basically, if I can do it, anyone can do it. So the idea is you have to be disciplined within yourself, and you have to really decide to want to do it. And once you do, it will happen.
You're still watching MedTalk, and we're talking about obesity. Let's read our tweets from our followers. Eri San Jose asks, does sleeping after eating have an effect on our body? Is it bad for our body if we sleep after we eat?
Well, supposedly because we're going to rest when we sleep. So it's not a good idea because then the body is still in the metabolic mode to digest what we have, and then you'll be sleeping. So some form of light physical activity would be okay before going to bed.
Yeah, on the other hand, you get to be sleepy after having a really huge meal. Reason for that is maybe because circulation goes down to the abdomen, to the intestines, then to the brain. That's why you get to be a little bit sleepy, especially if you're taking in so much of fatty foods. The issue of sleeping and development of obesity, I think there's not much relationship into it. The reason why after 6 diets, for example, can be effective is because patients or people would get to have the so-called physiologic fasting, which is about 12 hours, which is normal. We should allow time for our body to rest, you know. And after 6 diets would be effective since you have that so-called physiologic fasting. And the next meal would be 6 a.m.
Even our foreign guest would comment that the Filipinos are constantly eating. And so it really boils down to how much we eat. No? So we're constantly eating every 2-3 hours. We have several meriendas, we have midnight snack even on top of our 3 main meals. And so if it all boils down to how much we are eating in a day. And
Yes.
so it's very important to realize that. And so I think part of our culture is when we meet, our social gathering is always centered on food.
The joke is that Filipinos eat once a day. That's the whole day. It's only once a day kasi buong araw. Lalo na pag there's a party, like you said, there's gimmick, or even when you're watching TV, it's an activity that people like to engage in.
If you look at prevalence of obesity, you look at the Western world, and I think United States still number 1 with regards to the numbers of overweight and obese in the world today. There, you have 3 out of 4 would be overweight, and maybe 1 out of 3 would be obese already. And we're still very, very far from it. So it's not about being Filipino or American. It's about the culture of eating.
In the Philippines,
first
our data is still 1 out of 5 is overweight and 1 out of 20 is obese. So quite a far cry from the Western data.
When you're an overeater, you actually just drink your food. That's what it's all about. The taste. And the taste would lead you to that so-called pleasure principle. Food would be tastier, and so therefore you just want more of it. And so since you're unconscious or mindless about your eating and you just swallow it, you need to have the taste persistent in your mouth, and so you swallow again.
Okay, let's see if Lydia Gomez is a pleasure eater or a mindless eater, maybe. Let's see. From our Twitter account, she asks, I'm wondering what my net calorie intake should be. I try to keep track of all my calories with a calorie count app, but I don't exactly know how many calories, what nutrients a day I really need.
It would depend on the health status as well as the age and the
Lifestyle?
lifestyle. If they're very active, then maybe they can eat more. But again, relative to what your weight goal is. For most Filipinos, 2,000 would be okay. But to be able to lose weight, it would depend on supposing like for a lighter person, maybe just 1,500 is enough for the day. But if you're like 200 pounds, then maybe even going lower to be able to lose that weight.
We're still talking about obesity. I'm sure our viewers are very interested to find out how can we prevent one or ourselves from being overweight and then leading to obesity. Dr. Ordinaros?
Well, I'd just like to tell everybody, our viewers, Angel, that everything that you take in, I'm talking about food, except for water, would have calories in it. And at the end of the day, it's all about the balance between your intake and your expenditure of calories. And expenditure would mean that you have your basal metabolic rate and whatever activity that you have. A rough guide would be based on your weight right now. Let's say, for example, if you're 150 pounds, you just add up 1 0 into it, and therefore it's about 1,500. That's about your energy expenditure for the day. So if you take in more than 1,500 calories, chances are you get to increase in weight cumulatively. And if you have a positive caloric intake, 500 calories every day for the next 7 days, then you end up with 1 pound increase. So it's not right for us to really weigh every day and twice a day or 3 times a day because it drives us crazy too. Sometimes the weighing scale is the one that's causing us to increase weight, not lose weight.
I think it's still the basic would be the balance between your eating and your physical activity, and we have to focus on that because we do realize that prevention remains the best treatment for many medical problems.
I'd like to thank our guests for helping us understand obesity. Thank you so much to Dr. Gabriel Hasul and Dr. Hidelgardes Dineros for the wonderful insights you have provided us. We'll see all of you again next week on MedTalk, 10 p.m. on your scheduled on-air consultation on the Solar News channel. I'm Angel Jacob. Stay healthy!